As the 1950s and 60s unfolded, Chicago's streets bore witness to a tapestry of life unlike any other. In the midst of its bustling neighborhoods and towering skyscrapers, a shadowy underworld thrived, a world where street gangs held sway and alliances were forged in the crucible of adversity. For Morgan Freeman, the journey from the vibrant streets of Chicago to the hallowed halls of Hollywood remains veiled in mystery. Did he walk these very avenues as a young man amidst the hustle and bustle of a city on the brink of change? Street gang life in Chicago was a crucible of survival, where every corner held the promise of danger and opportunity in equal measure. Viewers, as we delve deep into history, peeling back the layers of speculation to uncover the truth behind the legend of Morgan Freeman's early days in the streets of Chicago, together we will navigate where fact and fiction intertwine, and the echoes of the past resonate with the promise of discovery. Freeman was born on June 1st, 1937 in Memphis, Tennessee, to his mother Mamie Edna, a teacher and a nurse's aide, and his biological father Morgan Porterfield Freeman, who was a barber. Morgan was sent as a baby to live with his maternal grandmother Evelyn in Greenwood, Mississippi. From 1910 to 1970, during the Great Migration, Chicago was known to blacks in the South as the Promised Land. Stories of big city life, jobs with good wages, homes with running water, and basic freedoms denied to blacks in the South made the northern city a prime destination for blacks coming from the delta of Mississippi and other cities in the South. However, Morgan Freeman's family found the Promised Land not so promising, as they were considered lower-class blacks in the caste system social hierarchy of class in black Chicago society. When Morgan was just 6 years old, his grandmother Evelyn Freeman died, and he and his sister Iris were sent to live with his parents in Chicago. They took the train from Mississippi to Chicago and arrived in the dead of winter. And Morgan remembered how bitterly cold and unfriendly the city was. When he first moved to Chicago, his mom, sister, and he lived in a one-room studio with a gas stove. His mother, Mamie, worked nights as a nurse's aide. Although Morgan knew his biological father, he did not see him often and considered his stepfather to be more of a father to him. His biological father died in 1961 of alcohol-related cirrhosis of the liver. But they never really stayed in one place for long and moved around often. It was a very tough time for Morgan, and he remembers his frustration at how hard things were. As a child, he did not eat much and he was considered to be malnourished. He also remembers his teachers at that early age who pushed him to study harder. They encouraged him often and told him he would be something. He hung on to this encouragement throughout his very tough early years. In the late 1950s and early 60s, the top Chicago South Side gangs were the Black Peace Stones, the Vice Lords, and the Gangster Disciples. Others soon developed to encompass that top slot. Chicago police attention at the time was focused primarily on troublemaking street gangs that posed threats in the local communities and to themselves in the form of gang conflict. Morgan Freeman himself said as a teen he was involved in a street gang called the Spiders. Though he said he was never a fully fledged member, but he was doing a lot of stealing and conning people. He did his best to avoid actual gang fights because he was not drawn to the violence, but could not avoid joining the Spiders. He said living in a neighborhood like that, it was impossible to survive without belonging. But he didn't want to fight because he didn't want to cause pain. But because school was one place where he could shine, he never missed a class, and he was personally very happy with his books. During school in 1950, he had a classmate named Barbara, who he had a fondness for. He wanted to get her attention, so classically, he pulled the chair from under her and she fell to the ground. His teacher, not having the clownery, picked him up and took him down the hall to the drama teacher. The drama teacher then asked him, had he ever done any acting? And attempting to provide some constructive punishment, He then placed Morgan in a school theater play. Later, at age 12, he won a statewide drama competition and he was chosen as the best actor. He says it's all because he pulled that chair from Barbara. He developed a love for the movies. The first movie Morgan ever saw was King Kong. It affected him, and he actually had nightmares after watching it. He soon began going to the movies every day, earning his admission by selling beer and soda bottles for a few cents each. His favorite actors were Gary Cooper and Sidney Poitier. Because at that time the movies had a ton of patriotic propaganda, some of the movies glorified the military, and as a result, Freeman had a desire to fly jets as a pilot. Freeman graduated high school in 1955, but turned down a partial drama scholarship from Jackson State University, opting instead to go and enlist in the United States Air Force. Morgan's aptitude test in the Air Force showed he was capable of becoming a fighter pilot, but instead was assigned as a radar technician. He thinks part of the reason he was not assigned as a pilot was racial, but he also acknowledges that he was very often outspoken and probably assigned as a radar technician to be put in his place. He says being a victim of racism is not an excuse, but more of an obstacle to overcome. He realized that his outspoken personality and inability to simply conform meant that a career in the military was not right for him. After being discharged from the military in 1959, Morgan then moved to Los Angeles, California. He landed a job at Los Angeles City College as a transcript clerk and enrolled in acting and voice classes. Morgan had two sons, Alfonso, born in 1959, and Cephalier Freeman, born in 1960, although he never married their mothers. In 1967, Morgan married Jeanette Adair Bradshaw. He adopted Jeanette's daughter, Dina. Then the couple then had another daughter who they named Morgana. Their union lasted 12 years, sharing 2 children. Fast forward 1969, Freeman landed a role on a children's TV show called The Electric Company, which was an educational show for kids and adults just learning to read. Morgan played the role of the hip, urban, Easy Rider character.
What's happening, Carmelita?
Well, I have been talking to Stanley.
And what I'm needing is something for reading. Stanley, baby! Sock it to old Easy.
Oh.
Easy Reader, that's my name. Reading, that's my game. Okay, brothers and sisters and misses and misters, here's your daddy-o with the sounds to go. No shucking, no jive, and I'm telling you, your music's arriving.
Freeman was happy to have constant work, and this role paid him a cool $17,000 per year. Freeman believed he was finally on his way to reaching his goals. Later, Morgan married Myrna Colley Lee on June 16, 1984. The couple separated in December 2007 and divorced on September 15, 2010. Freeman went on to perform in various theater roles before going on to great box office success in movies such as Driving Miss Daisy, to classics like the 1988 film Lean on Me.
This is Powers, eh? Come with me, all of you.
Or his role in The Shawshank Redemption,
whose conclusion is uncertain.
And who could forget? Freeman's deep voice is considered to be distinctive, iconic, recognizable, which frequently makes him a preferable choice for narration in films and documentaries. Morgan and his family faced a great tragedy. A man stabbed and killed the actor's step-granddaughter, Idina Hines. She was only 33. This happened August 16, 2015 in New York City. Lamar Davenport, believed to be the boyfriend of Idina, stabbed her with a knife, more than 24 times. After binging on mind-altering drugs and alcohol, Lamar Davenport knocked Miss Hines to the ground, pinned her down, and stabbed her an appalling 25 times, including twice through her heart. Before he stabbed her, he had taken drugs including phencylamine, PCP, that can cause hallucinations, delusions, and paranoia in high doses. Previous to the incident, the couple had discussed taking a break over text messages shown during Davenport's trial. Prosecutors argued he was angry over their potential split, but defense lawyers said his PCP usage was the main factor in the attack. Defense witness Xavier Gardere told the court Davenport screamed, "I love you, I always loved you. God would have wanted this," as he stabbed Hines. During the trial, the defense also brought up controversial rumors that Hines was previously engaged in a romantic relationship with her step-grandfather, Morgan Freeman. Both Hines and the actor had previously denied the rumors, fueled by anonymous quotes in a 2009 National Enquirer article. Morgan released a statement after her passing. "The world will never know her artistry and talent and how much she had to offer." Freeman previously told People, "Her friends and family were fortunate enough to have known what she meant as a person. Her star will continue to shine bright in our hearts, thoughts, and prayers. May she rest in peace." Later, allegations toward Morgan Freeman were that 8 women accused him of inappropriate behavior allegedly experienced by Freeman. In May 2018, Morgan released a statement. "Anyone who knows me or has worked with me knows I am not someone who would intentionally offend or knowingly make anyone feel uneasy. I apologize to anyone who felt uncomfortable or disrespected. That was never my intent."
In this changing world, it's harder than ever to find something extraordinary.
My voice ain't like that.
One thing I can tell you, if you're looking to improve the sound of your voice, yawn a lot.
Yawn a lot.
Yawn a lot.
Freeman's deep voice is considered to be distinctive, iconic, and recognizable, which frequently makes him a preferable choice for narration in films and documentaries. Freeman spends much of his later years on his 44-acre ranch near Charleston, Mississippi. Additionally, he owns a home in New York City. However, when recently asked in September 2023 if he plans on retiring, the 86-year-old commented, "I have friends who have just thrown in the towel and said, 'That's it for me.' But I don't see myself doing any of that in the near future." Alright, Divas and Divos, that's it. Thank you for watching, and make sure you hit the like, subscribe, bell notification for updated content, and we'll see you on the next video.